environment was strict, but nurturing.
Speaking out, yeah. Up comes Boslow and Mr. Clinton, Conway, speaking and exposing corruption each and every day. Yeah. Guyanese, turn on your TV and go to YouTube and listen to what Boslow and Conway to say. Yeah. Whole day we are calling for Boslow and Clinton Conway. They teach and educating, exposing the things in the system. We need a better Guyana for the little boys and the children poor. Slow and Clinton Conway.
All the money they invest, 2.2 billion.
Hear me when I sing. Yeah. Oh.
And they would have gotten
Guyanese at home and abroad. Please log into Conway as wide as it can reach. Paul Slow, you always will preach. Oh, yeah. Like and share, subscribe. Hit the notification bell so this message could reach as far. And every Guyanese will feel well. Oh, yes. Yeah. Paul Slow and Clinton Conway. Every day.
all the money they invest, 2.4 billion of our money. That money could have been invested someplace. They have to say. Pleasant good afternoon, one and all. Welcome to the Friday afternoon's edition of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption and Incompetence. Welcome, one and all. Hope you had a very relaxing night. Hope you're looking forward to an even more relaxing weekend. So here we are, another Friday afternoon to bring you credible, valuable information. Today is Friday the 13th. Oh God, Jason on the loose. Friday the 13th of February in the year of our Lord 2026. And we hear another great day that the Lord has made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. Let's give praise and thanks for being in the land of the living. It is a privilege to be in the land of the living, and we should never, ever take that for granted. So welcome. And as the introductory song says, like and share, hit the notification button. Paul Slow and Conway are in the house. So there we are again. Here we are. My colleague, as we say, he's in the house. He's ready. He's waiting to bring you credible, valuable information. And as usual, we have so much to tell you today. So much. We got to do some juggling to make sure we give you the things that we feel are priority. And then we're going to leave back some for the next program and so on. So yeah, man, like and share. Program schedule at 2 o'clock Eastern time. That's the time when the gates were open. And I see a large number of students were here ready, lined up to get into the schoolyard. And then when the school doors were open a short while ago, similarly, a large number of students lined up to get in. So, you know, I continue to say Friday afternoon are special for some people. Now, you would have had sometime a little stressful week of work. Then you look forward to Friday where you're going to relax, have a 2-day weekend. Some people, for our students in the U.S., you have a long weekend because Monday is a President's Day. So you have a long weekend, students in the U.S. Like those of you who would benefit from that, because some of you, I'm sure, will have to work. So here we are again for this weekend. So like and share. We're going to do the honors, acknowledging those who were here very early. And then we're going to make the announcements, and then we're going to roll into it. Let me tell you, the man come down from the hills very early this morning, man, or this afternoon. Barlett, first man listed. Wayne from the UK. Then it is Kenneth from Maryland. John from New Amsterdam. Patrick is a man from the UK as well. Peter, Barbara, Aubrey's from Canada. Jacko from Georgia. Well, I know he's from Georgia, but sometimes he tunes in from Guyana. Marcia, Joy, Ricky Smith, Jack is here, and Puran from the Essequibo Coast. Then it is Paulette, Evelyn, Carrie from somewhere in Guyana. Then we have Mary, Moses, Sean, you listed down the line by upstate New York, Marcus, Courtney, Derek Trotty is here, Dexter, Paulette. These are all people who came within the first minute. You know, Nicola, Ivor from Georgia, Gaston, my squad mate from Canada, Nav Joe. Then it was Jakey from Maryland. Jakey, I got to call you, man. I got to call you and make a confession. Sandra is here. Alicia, Emerson, Brian, Paulette. These all came within the first minute or so of the doors being open. And then and that's a gate rather, and then when the school doors were open, let me see how they stacked up, how they came in to the classroom. Let me see. There are a lot of them. I gotta scroll and scroll and scroll. Many. First person in, Commissioner Cole. Welcome. You're early in the class. Commissioner Cole, then it was Steve, then Nicola. Rhonda is here very early as well. Abu from the Essequibo Coast. Pam West, them girl is here. Wills, Simon, Sion, then who else it is? Junior, Jonah came back, Raquel, yes, and then Umar, Lynette. Lynette from Barbados. Lynette, good to see you. I know you are here very early. Lynette from Barbados. The secretary is also here very, very early. So yes. Those are the ones we're going to acknowledge this afternoon from being here early. And let me give you the announcements. Today, we have crossed 700 days, 701 days to be exact, since Sergeant Alex Vaughn was shot and killed, Police Sergeant Alex Vaughn. Today is the 701st day, 701. Imagine that. And they talk about transparency. You know, I think the police annual officers conference is ongoing now, and they talk about transparency and all that. And one of their colleagues shot and killed 701 days ago, and they can't tell people what is the current position with that. And they talk about transparency. Then we told you about the death of former member Egerton Anderson, 6721 Anderson. Received word that he's going to be buried tomorrow in Tampa, Florida. Edgar Anderson, former member 6721, tomorrow funeral in Tampa, Florida. And then let me tell you about some other stuff, the more pleasant ones. More pleasant. We have some other deaths to funeral arrangement to tell you about, but it's down the line, so we're gonna wait. Birthday greetings are going out today to a friend. Think he's a student too, Clyde Lane. Clyde Lane is observing a birth anniversary today. And then in terms of advanced birthday greetings, Franklin Mingo. Franklin Mingo is gonna be observing a birth anniversary shortly. Franklin was a retired superintendent. I think his number was 8804 or something like that. Yeah, help me out. I think it was 88 or not 4 was more. So Franklin would be 03 or something like that. Yeah, right, Franklin. And also Clyde Bino. Clyde Bino is gonna be observing a birth anniversary. I think it's tomorrow. And Clyde was 88, 46 or something like that. I get to know, I can't remember all of these numbers now. But Clive and Franklin are going to be celebrating shortly. So I want to take this opportunity to wish those who are celebrating today, who celebrated recently, whether your name or call or not, and are those who are going to be celebrating in the near future, happy birth anniversary to you all. It's always good to go around the sun another time, another trip around the sun, and in good health and happiness and prosperity and all of that. So yes. So those are the early announcement. Now let me move on before bringing CC. Let me tell you what the cricket fans today, we had a match there, Zimbabwe and Australia. And in case you all didn't know, Zimbabwe put a licking on Australia in the World T20. They play in that leg is played in Sri Lanka, and Zimbabwe, right? Somebody tell me 88-46, but I know, right? So I was correct. I was correct, right? Zimbabwe beat Australia today. Zimbabwe defeated Australia, and then yesterday you had that match with a double. What yesterday with South Africa and Afghanistan, double what do you call it? Double thing they have to go there, right? Double super over. So the thing warming up nice. And as I said, today is Friday the 13th. Back in the day, Friday the 13th is our day. Jason, Jason, the younger people might remember that there's a film by the name of Friday the 13th. And Jason and the Loose. And they used to have other similar film of the art, similar genre and so on. Yeah, man, already Friday the 13th. So those are people who are superstitious. I think back in the day, the older people might be able to correct me here. Well, I say older than I am, because I think when they talk in Guyana about Black Friday, back in the 60s, in the early 60s, when they had big crowd disturbances and so on in Guyana, I think it was a Friday the 13th too, if my memory serves me correct. I think when the police officer, McLeod, I think was his name, white man, Superintendent McLeod, I think he was shot and killed outside Freedom House in Robb Street. You see, people got to remember these things, Police officer shot and killed. So it's not only this girl, McLennan, was shot and killed outside Freedom House back in the day, in the 60s, right? But can't remember his first name, McLeod. Gabo, y'all help me out there. Was shot and killed outside of Freedom House in Robb Street. And then Donna McLennan was shot and killed outside Freedom House in Robb Street as well. Y'all gotta remember these things. Tomorrow is Valentine's Day. I see a comedian on the social media. He's saying, whoever remove the 29th and the 30th from February, I know February get 28 days except in the leap year. He said, whoever remove the 28th, the 29th and the 30th from February, they must also remove the 14th of February. he said, I hereby no gift. He said, that is it. Somebody said, was the 16th of February? All right. Yeah, so that's what the comedian is saying. So Valentine's Day is flowers. Well, in North America and in the place, a lot of people use flowers and so on. But I think Guyanese into flower. Maybe they're going to deal with chocolate and other stuff, a night out for dinner and that type of thing, right? So yeah, Chucky the Bride, yes, yeah, I'll tell you about all of these horror movies and so on. So we have that. And as I told you too, Monday in the US is President's Day. Monday is President's Day. So y'all have a long weekend, you students in the US. So as a starter, I made those announcements. I have a few more to make. Let me tell you too, before I bring in CC, we had on the 11th was when? 2 days ago, Barbados election, Mia Motley, the incumbent prime minister, all 30 seats, not 30, all the seats were won. All the seats were won by the Bs. I think it's Barbados Labour Party. All, two parties, Barbados Labour Party, I think Democratic Labour, something like that, all the seats. But, when you look at the thing, and this is where the real politicians and the statisticians have got to look, the turnout for that general elections were 30, they say it was 30.8%. 30.8% turnout, right, for the election. So either voter apathy or something. I was telling CC before we started, it reminds me that when years ago, they had the annual GDF all-weapon competition, shooting competition at Timeri. Norman Gordon McLean was the chief of staff. And then these men used to win with a man will get first and he get less than 50. So if you get, maybe he has to shoot 10 shots, maybe he shoot two, he got 2 hits, and that is number one. All the other competitors get one and wash out and all this type of thing. And now McLean made a rule, he made a decree that in order for you to get a prize in any of the competitions, you have to get at least 50%. At least. And we were the people who changed the paradigm. Police Police got it upset them. Me, Good Luck, Trim, and the whole crew, Hendrix and all, we got there and start to shoot up a storm. And then Naman, so if you were a soldier and you took part in the competition and you won, but you did not get 50% or more of the maximum score, all you got was a handshake. No trophy, no medal. You got a handshake and that's it. So maybe, but politics different. Me I get is a 30.8% turnout, and then she sweep the board and so on. So that's politics. That's politics. And then we can tell you, say, well, it's democracy. Perhaps it is, because that was the turnout. You can't perhaps necessarily blame her for people not turning out. Maybe you can, right? Maybe you can, but that is how it goes. 30%, and then what has happened? What has happened? As we have seen in Guyana, many people don't turn out, and then when things operate against them, they just come and make enough noise. They don't go vote. They get an opportunity to make a difference, to participate in the process. They don't go, and then when they dash the 5 more years on them, and they see all them corruption and all them everything, they just grown and they just grown and they just grown. So yeah, that is it. Let me bring in CC, and then we're gonna move on to the substantive stuff. CC, welcome, my brother. Good afternoon, and welcome.
Good afternoon. Happy to be in the land of the living to do God's work. Friday the 13th, you all remember Friday the 13th, we used to call it Black Friday, you know. Lots of things, a lot of bad things will happen sometime on Friday the 13th. Congratulations to those persons who will be celebrating their birthday. Franklin Mingo, I hope I catch up with you by and have a little drink with you. You know we come a long way, a very long way. So, and I know that your wife is going to take good care of you. And to those persons who will be doing something for tomorrow, which is Valentine's Day, I want to wish all of you well and wish pre-Valentine greetings to all those persons who will be celebrating.
Yeah, and you're reminded here that tomorrow, Monday is a holiday in Canada as well. It's a Monday's Family Day holiday in Ontario. I know it's the entire Canada, but some people are commenting here on that. And somebody just reminded me that are informing us that I think this is the 3rd consecutive election that Mia made a clean sweep. I think you're correct. Made a clean sweep. So I got no opposition there. I remember on one occasion when she made a clean sweep, I think they had to nominate somebody as opposition leader, something like that. But let me say this. I know politicians that say, yeah, me no liar, me no politicians. But we have a situation in Guyana where you have the PPP ruling party, 36 seats. We invest in national 16 seats, up New 12, and the other party, Forward Ghana Movement, get 1. But the 36 that the PPP get, it amounts, based on how things go, it amounts to 100%, because you ain't getting nothing past Parliament in any bipartisan way and all of that. PPP will get whatever they want, whether it's good for the country or not. They're going to ride roughshod over everybody. So whether they get 36 or they get all, I mean, there are some, so the system in Ghana, they didn't get 2/3, which they were hoping for, because if they got 2/3, then they would have made drastic changes to the Constitution. But they can't, on their own, make changes to the Constitution. So maybe there's a spoke in the wheel that they didn't get a clean sweep, because they were hoping to get a larger number of seats, because they wanted to change the Constitution, I'm sure. Because why else? If you get 36 and you operate as if you are the only party in Parliament, you get everything you want. The only reason why you could have wanted a 2/3 is to make constitutional changes, right? So let me move on. We said this month, we told you this month is Black History Month. Black History Month. We started out in the first program of the month, and we spoke about Lyndon Forbes, Samson Burnham. We spoke about his contribution. But I don't think we were able to do justice to such a great man, right? Caribbean man of the decade and all sort of thing. he was nominated. And I found, right, we say you're right, even when they had the 32 seats, they behave as a majority, not giving an inch of concession. You're right. That's one of the comments there. So, as I've said, the only reason I believe the only difference really is that because they didn't get, in Mia's case, I don't know what the Barbados Constitution says, but if you get all the seats, whatever changes they want to make, you can make. You run it through Parliament. In Guyana's case, they would have to get 2/3, right? And then get for have constitutional changes. You got to get what they call a supermajority. So they ain't get a supermajority. So to make constitutional changes, you got to get people from the other side. So perhaps that's the only good thing. As I said, we spoke about Lyndon Forbes Sampson Burnham, the greatest person, the greatest black person, at least post-independence and just prior to independence, right? Caribbean man of the century and so on. So I found a little clip that I want to play, and you got to play these things, especially for the younger people, and for us older people to remind us who this man or who these people were, because leave it to them. They use the propaganda machine, and according to them, Burnham did nothing good, right? Phillips, lying Mark Phillips, ungrateful Mark Phillips, we will go on the parliamentary debate and try to run down Burnham. Nimakaran, ungrateful. So I'm going to play you a clip here and let you know something about Forbes Burnham. Let's go.
Sharp reasoning and command of speech often set him apart. In 1942, he graduated as the top student, winning the British Guiana Scholarship, the highest academic honor available in the colony. This scholarship opened the door for him to pursue higher education in the United Kingdom, a journey that would expand his worldview and shape his political outlook. Years in England. In 1945, Burnham sailed to England to study law at King's College, University of London. He arrived in a Britain recovering from war, yet alive with political energy and debate. The experience was transformative. He became active in the West Indian Students' Union and the League of Coloured Peoples, where he met other colonial students who would later become leaders in their homelands, including Ghana's Kwame Nkrumah, Jamaica's Norman Manley, and Trinidad's George Padmore. Their conversations about race, freedom, and independence left a lasting impression on Burnham. His time in England refined his intellect and deepened his awareness of global politics. He read widely law, philosophy, and political theory, and learned to navigate British society with confidence. He graduated with his Bachelor of Laws, LLB, in 1947 and was called to the bar at Gray's Inn in 1948. When he returned home the following year, Burnham carried not only legal credentials but also a clear sense that his destiny lay in national leadership, return home, and legal career. Back in Georgetown in 1949, Burnham began a successful legal practice. His sharp intellect and commanding courtroom presence quickly made him one of the colony's most promising young barristers. His reputation for logic and persuasion brought him both respect and a growing public profile. At the same time, political activism was sweeping across British Guiana. Labor unrest and calls for independence were growing louder. Burnham's eloquence and organizational skill naturally drew him into politics. In January 1950, together with Dr. Chetty Jagan, Janet Jagan, and others, Burnham co-founded the People's Progressive Party, PPP. The PPP represented a broad, multiracial coalition calling for self-government, social justice, and an end to colonial rule. Burnham was appointed chairman, while Cheddi Jagan became leader. The PPP's resounding victory in the 1953 election, the first held under universal adult suffrage, was historic. However, the British authorities soon intervened, suspending the constitution and removing the government, alleging communist sympathies. This event was a turning point for Burnham. It convinced him that the struggle for independence would require both diplomacy and discipline, and that leadership must be firm, not ideological. The founding of the People's National Congress. The partnership between Burnham and Jagan began to fray soon after. Personality differences, ideological disagreements, and racial divisions within the party deepened. Burnham's more moderate nationalist approach clashed with Jagan's Marxist orientation. In 1955, Burnham formally split from the PPP and established the People's National Congress, PNC. His new party attracted strong support from Afro-Guyanese communities, urban professionals, and sections of the working class. Burnham envisioned the PNC as a disciplined, organized movement built on self-reliance, education, and cooperative economics. He was a gifted organizer and speaker, and his political style, blending intellect with charisma, earned him loyal followers. By the early 1960s, British Guiana was on the threshold of independence, and Burnham was at the center of negotiations. In 1964, following elections and a coalition agreement with Peter D'aguiar's United Force, Burnham became Prime Minister. 2 years later, on May 26, 1966, he presided over the birth of an independent Guyana. The moment marked the culmination of the dreams that had first taken shape during his student days in London, marriage and family life. During his early professional years, Burnham married Viola Harper, an educated and thoughtful Guyanese woman whose composure and quiet strength complemented his disciplined nature. The couple's marriage was rooted in mutual respect and shared faith. They had 3 daughters, Roxane, Annabelle, and Melanie, and were known to maintain a household defined by learning and structure. Burnham's family life remained private, though his deep affection for his wife and children was well known to his close associates. Viola Burnham herself would later serve in government, continuing her husband's legacy of public service after his death. Leadership and personality. Burnham was a complex man, scholarly, proud, and exacting. He combined an English-trained intellect with a Caribbean sensibility. His speeches reflected erudition and conviction, often quoting Shakespeare, Marcus Garvey, or the Bible. He was known for his precision, punctuality, and commanding presence. Even his critics acknowledged his ability to inspire confidence through sheer intellect and self-assurance. His leadership style demanded discipline from his colleagues and devotion to national ideals. Outside politics, Burnham loved literature, classical music, and philosophy. He was an avid reader with a personal library that reflected his wide intellectual appetite. Despite the demands of office, he valued time spent reading, writing, or reflecting in solitude. Personal wealth and lifestyle. Forbes Burnham was not a wealthy man by conventional standards. His income came largely from his government salary and his previous legal work. He did not engage in private business or accumulate large assets. He lived with his family at State House in Georgetown, maintaining a simple, orderly lifestyle. He was known for his elegance in dress, but avoided extravagance or indulgence. At the time of his death, his personal net worth was estimated at $200,000 to 400,000 US dollars. Modest for a man who had led his nation for 2 decades. His wealth lay in his intellect and influence rather than in material possessions. Declining health and death. By the early 1980s, after nearly 20 years in power, Burnham's health began to deteriorate. He suffered from heart problems and related complications, but refused to slow down. Those close to him often remarked on his relentless work ethic and sense of duty. In August 1985, Burnham was admitted to Georgetown Hospital for what was described as routine throat surgery. During the operation on August 6th, he suffered heart failure and died at the age of 62. The news spread rapidly across Guyana and the wider Caribbean. The nation went into mourning, with thousands attending his state funeral. His body lay in state at the National Cultural Center before being interred with full honors. His wife, Viola Burnham, continued his public legacy, later serving as Vice President and Member of Parliament until her own passing in 2003. Lyndon Forbes' Sampson Burnham's life story mirrors the evolution of Guyana itself, from colony to independent republic. Born to a humble family of educators, he rose through intellect and discipline to lead his country into independence and beyond. Please subscribe for more.
You already there. You already there. You were saying it. Um, I think you got a very clear insight about the man Lyndon Forbes Sampson Burnham. Some people have said that some of the information in terms of his children with Viola might not be 100% accurate in terms of biological children, right? But they grew up in the same household, so one would say even though they were not biological, they grew up as a family. They were regarded as children and all of that. I know a very significant thing is said towards the end. It is said that when Burnham died, his net worth, he had about 200 to 400,000 US dollars. PPP propaganda over the years. Oh, Burnham had Swiss bank account and he thief. Look, let me tell you something. You name a single politician a single government politician in Guyana now, who you can say with any conviction has a net worth of 200 to 400,000 US dollars. Even if you were to look at what the value 200 to 400,000 Guyana dollars, US dollars, then what would be the value now? Even if you were to make that accommodation, the men will get millions and millions of US dollars, and the day they want you to say, oh, Burnham, do all this other thing with the money, you get Swiss bank account, you get that, and you get that. Propaganda. So that you will tell you got to come and speak the truth and shame the devil. Speak the truth and shame the devil. And next thing that I want to mention before I bring in CC, when Burnham died in 85, a matter of fact, I remember very well, I had made my first trip with the West Indies shooting team. First time a West Indies shooting team went to England, I was part of that team. Came back from England and resumed the very day that Burnham died. I resumed duty that day. I was an inspector of police at the TSU. And I had the privilege and distinction of being one of the sentries at the around the casket at the cultural center during the time that he was laying there. Yes, I had that privilege. Young inspector, they had me there. And let me tell more than that, because there were several members, National Service, I think GDF, and you had the different organizations there. And they selected what they say the best to be there at the time when the foreign leaders and foreign dignitaries were filing past. And I was selected to be among that group. Sharp like a tack, you stand up there. Can't flinch, unflinch like a statue. I was selected to be a part of that, right? I was there. So I got a lot of force and a lot of things, Yeah, but the thing about Burnham, we got to remember so many good things. So when you hear like Mark Phillips, of all people, come to tell you that basically try to tell people at Burnham and do nothing. James Bond 007 said the same thing. All the benefit he get was under PPP and all of that. When I talk about free education from nursery to university, free clothes and housing nation, all them Linden Highway, Demerara Bridge, Quarantine Highway, so many things, glass factory. You had Vancy Ram, you had Clay Brick Factory, you had Ideal making fridge and freezer, you had Greco making radios, you got Collie bicycles being made. You had so many, many things, Barnum. And you not aisle money. You ain't got aisle money. Right? Now, again, I say, before I bring in CC, you name a single politician now, PPP government politician, who they can claim get $200,000 to $400,000 as their word. Or even if, as I said, you convert that into what it will be in today's price, today's value. A lot of thief, a lot of kleptomaniacs you have now, they're thieving, and we're going to talk about the corruption shortly, but let me bring in CC. CC, I know you would have been a man during Bonham 02. Let me hear your reflection, man.
Well, I was always impressed with Bonham. And for me, it was Guyanese to the bone, or as we say, a Church of God Guyanese. He had vision for the country. I remember him talking about one people, one nation, one destiny. Not one guy, one people, one nation, one destiny. He had vision. You mentioned, Paul, about feed, clothes, and how the nation by 1976. I think he was too bright for us, He had a vision, and I don't think we were really ready for Bonham, And I always remember during my groundings with my brothers in Jamaica was a Ochurios. And we were having a drink, and Bonham name came up. The speaker there in his presentation tagged the Bonham is elegance. And one of the Guyanese, my Jamaican counterparts, him get class, him get real class. And he said him and Bishop were having a conversation at Ochurios there at the hotel. And he said Bonham had on a mauve shoe, mauve socks, mauve suit, mauve tie-pin, mauve pen, mauve wristwatch, mauve shades, he said, and Bishop offered him a cigar, and him take out one mauve lighter and light the cigar. He said, man, dark class, And there's so much things we can talk about Bonham, but we didn't have enough time. But for me, he was a real leader, a Guyanese leader, a Caribbean leader, a world leader. And he had vision. What them they say and get? He had vision.
Well, we president, your finally get vision too. His vision he get make it come out in late July. Now, my say he had a vision and they promote 2,800 and something police. That's the vision. That's the vision he had. That vision, they got vision, but that is not the whole word. It's followed by less vision, less people. Visionless people, right? So let me move on. The breaking news today, in case you're all in here, that Stabrook News is closed, going out of business. Stabrook News, one of the most reliable daily newspapers in Guyana. Stabrook News going out, closing down. I listened to the interview today with the editor-in-chief, I think he is, Anand Prasad, and he gave reasons why and so on, and all is not to be blamed, he said, on the fact that the government ain't paying them, owe them $60-something million advertising revenue. So he said it's not hard. So about the whole landscape, the whole industry has evolved, right? The whole thing has evolved. A lot of people now don't buy newspaper. You get a phone, all your news, because remember, newspaper now is the print during the night to catch you in the morning. But that is too slow for many of us. We want to hear the thing, so we done the phone. And then you get breaking news right away. You can get breaking news. For example, on my devices, I have things like CNN, Al Jazeera, and all the local credible news outlets, like the private news outlets. So something happens, people don't buy newspaper now. Very few people do, especially the younger people. Younger people don't buy that. So he explained the reason for them going out of business, and he did say that the last publication will be made on the 15th of March this year. So we get at least one more month, and they're going out of business completely. So there's not going to be any printed version. There's not going to be any online version as well. So Stabroek News is no more. The most reliable newspaper in Guyana, that is my view, is gone. And I'm going to miss them because only, as I tell you, every so often I write to the editor and have it published and so on, only as recent as Monday. No, on Wednesday, I did like that, and I had a letter published in the newspaper. We got to find other means. And let me say this before I bring in CC to comment on that. I say this now that we have a need now. You get a need to support independent media. Independent is the word. Independent media and credible social media platforms like Speaking Out. Independent media. Because what you have in that landscape there in Guyana, most of them are not independent. I'm going to call them name, but you know, most of them are propaganda arms of the government. That is what they are. And the government used to fight down Stabroek News because Stabroek News displayed their independence. Only recently, when Nadir go and make that speech about the opposition leader, he cited Stabroek News, Stabroek News. In other words, they want you to butter them up. And when you speak the truth, then they don't like it. They come after you. So I'm saying to you now, folks, so all of you who have not subscribed, and your family and friends and them and subscribe to Speaking Out, this is the opportunity. Tell them, because yesterday or sometime I was going through, and it might surprise you to know that many of the people right here now have not subscribed. I was shocked when I looked at it. I think it was last night, running through the thing. Many people who are here now have not subscribed to Speaking Out. Regulars, some regulars have not subscribed. I don't know if they don't know how. And let me say this. The subscription is free. It's not a case where you got to pay to subscribe. There are other platforms where you have to pay to subscribe. You get two versions. You get the free version and the paid. Subscription on Speaking Out is free. Once it's subscribed, you don't got to pay. You don't have to pay. I always said that if at some stage you feel that you're in a position to make a little contribution, then it will be welcome. So subscribe. You got to go now more than ever to independent media and credible sources of information. Let me bring in CC for him to have his say on that. CC, Stabroek News, man, going out of business.
I'm gonna miss Stabroek News, sad, but then life goes on. And I used to do a bit of writing, and Stabroek News will always publish my letter. And if I send it today, tomorrow they publish it, So Kaitro News, but the others I send copies to them, but they never publish anything. But I'm gonna miss them. But then, if it's that they've got to close the business, that is it. But it was a very credible newspaper, and for the matter, I subscribe to it, and I buy it every day. Every day the newspaper boy would come by me and drop my two papers, Kaitro and Stabroek, on a daily basis, and I will read them. Although sometimes I read them even before I got them, read online. But there's a business, and if the business is going to close, it's no longer profitable, well then that's it. They did an excellent work, and maybe all the best to the staff who would be laid off.
Yeah, 60 staff members. He did say 60 staff members. And but he did say too that they will get all the benefits, whether it's pension, whether it's leave, they're going to get all the benefits. But then after March the 15th, then they have to let go. Well, let me say this in terms of publishing letters. I'm going to continue to write when I see the need to do so. and it's going to be published. I'm going to continue to send to Kaichur and Village Voice, but I'm going to make sure it is published on Speaking Out. Speaking Out. We get this platform. Whenever I have letters to write, I'm going to publish it on Speaking Out, and that is both on Facebook and YouTube. We're going to publish those letters. Now, let me move on. Corruption. You know, the theme of this podcast, the program, Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption and Incompetence. Guyana, as we have been saying for the longest while, is a very corrupt place. I don't like to hear it. As a matter of fact, let me be frank. About 2 years or so ago, they used to deny there's no corruption. Bring the evidence. We ain't got no corruption. But in the run-up to the election in 2025, the position started to change. Because remember, the president said in the or the PPP said in the manifesto for the last election, they're going to establish this anti-corruption unit. Suddenly, there is corruption, because the only way you can establish an anti-corruption unit, because you now come to a recognition that there is corruption. The Speaker of the National Assembly, Manzoor Nadir, during the 12th Parliament at some stage, banned the word corruption. So parliamentarians making debate or making presentations could not use the word corruption in Parliament. So bad it was. And we all know, you live in Guyana, we live in Guyana, we know from our own experience and from what we think about corruption. Rampant corruption. And here what happened? I'm going to play you all this tape, so sit back. This is a man making an allegation. It's viral. But maybe all of you have not seen it, and we're going to play it, and then we're going to discuss certain aspects of it at the next end. So here we go.
This is the Guyana episode. Yeah. The most dangerous place in South America and the Caribbean. With the most dangerous autocratic gangster government, racist gangster government. Now, I have first-hand experience in Guyana. I get extorted and robbed in Guyana. High-level robbery. The only petty crime I encounter in Guyana is a little man who broke off my car mirror. I parked by a little pub to get some food and a drink. And I come up at my mirror, them gone. You understand? So that is the only petty crime I encounter down there. So, but you see, when you come on to high level criminality, next level that. Racism, next level. Me in a project down there. Large project. Run over $1 billion. And before I was even notified by the project, I receiving calls from people I never meet. You understand? Me receive a call from a man identify himself as the son of Minister of Public Works down there. I'm done come to collect some money on behalf of himself and men from Tender Board. And them men are tell us straight, you can't survive in the market if you not offer them protection. I suffer them extortion run. You understand? So by the time you get the next call here, say, alright, you what going on? We increase some money for your thing. You have a sign feed. I challenge anybody in Guyana right now, because they still owe me. I want them to look at Osororo Secondary School. How much lot 5? What was the tendered price for lot 5? Right? Because President, me want my money, you know. So, I tell you now. Look at what was the tendered price for lot 5. And after you see what the value was for all the bidders, Look how much it was awarded for. And then I want them to tell me if there's any discrepancies, because the information are there. You can access it. Right? And then I want them to ask how much variation they put into the project and what was the reason they did not pay us the variations. They demand of us to supply materials that are not in the tender. Why did they demand that? Simply because I tell them, say, boy, I can't pay no more money to them. Because they might tell you, this money I want $100 million, this money I want $60 million, this money I need to get, what? I think 10 million or some nonsense like that to make sure, say, you know, you think them can go through. We have all contractors down there, a closed gate. Imagine that. Asking why is it that this company get the project. Guyana is a corrupt and a dangerous place. I see them right down there right now, see them going after the opposition leader. The whole of them down there corrupt, you know. Why? Me just tired of them, but me still need my money still, you understand? So if them things are more me alone, I go sing. I going to sing like a bird in the tree. Me I go sing. You understand? Because me need my money. Me need my money. We need all of it. Because you have a PS in a Ministry of Education. We're calling insurance agent and telling them straight, say, don't do no business with them. They're trying to close us down. Why are they trying to close us down? The PS look at me and tell me, say, nobody can say him get no money from my project, you know. Nobody cannot say I get any money from this project, you know. So you're trying to say to yourself, so hold on there. So it's like you have to pay your way through this. I tendered for a project and I tendered for the project within the legal parameters of the procurement rule. And then they come now and say, alright, them have award you the project. And then them doing them changes and them kind of thing there. You understand? Them men giving you a payment, and by the time you receive the payment, you know, you have people all over the country calling in and like they know, say, them all send a picture of the check. Say there's a check prepared by finance for you. And how much money them forget and all that kind of thing. You know. I saw them men work. It's a dangerous place. Very, very dangerous place. You understand? So me I will come out with something. Cause me have some picture. Me have some picture with a minister's son. And the money that he collect in the bag. where they extort from me. Because I never agree to that, you know. And I have text messages and WhatsApp messages that me not really subject to this kind of extortion thing, you know, but not talk about his gifts. And because me continue to say I am not supporting this, I don't want it to silence me, intimidate me. Pay me my money. Pay me my how much $1 million US and half for me. Pay it to me and let me go. Because I'm going to be singing loud and clear. I have never been involved in them kind of corrupt practices. And because we do business and we do business clean and we don't want to get involved in it. They don't want to pay me. My suppliers them need to get paid. 1 year come and gone. You understand? 1 year come and gone. So, Ministry of Education in a Guyana, we need the money for us our project. We need our money. All the kickback them, well, not even kickback. Because I never give you no money to get no job. The extortion them. You no demand from me, so I have to pay. Right? Yeah. Tender board, you know what I talk about tender board. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, man. You know what I'm talking about. Edgel, you know what I'm talking about. See? Yeah. And I still have a WhatsApp message them. So nobody feels say you can delete them and pretend like say yes, you can't say a lie me I tell. Me still have all of the messages them. Yeah, cause me did suspect on it, you know. Me suspect say one who was trying to do is to rob me. So me have them. Alright, good. So me just sit back and I watch and I go on and think. All me need is my payments. My business is not down there. Me just need my money back. Right? Need to pay my suppliers and go with my name. Yeah. So while I know that I run behind Mohammed and I try to destroy Mohammed. Trust me. And the phone not go down now because it's a thief. Guyana, calling on every single businessman within the Caribbean region and the international community as the president go out there and encouraging people, come here, come on Guyana and invest. Guyana is run by gangsters and thugs. The president of Guyana, the vice president of Guyana, the permanent secretary them in Guyana, most of the public servants in Guyana, they are gangsters. They are extortionists. They are criminals. Stay out of Guyana. Invest and travel to Guyana at your own risk. All right? All right. Remember some one, yeah? Travel to Guyana at your own risk. Invest your money there at your own risk.
Now, let me, before I bring in CC, let me read something that what was said. You know, this is serious business, you know. We can talk about analyzing, but it's serious business. I saw a post on social media, and this is someone wrote to say, as a Guyanese by birth and a businessman operating in the United States, I feel a deep sense of responsibility to be honest about my current level of comfort when it comes to recommending investments in Guyana, especially to partners who trust my judgment and reputation. I want to say upfront that my hesitation does not come from a lack of love for my country or a lack of belief in its potential. Guyana's extraordinary promise, natural resources, and human capital. I would genuinely like nothing more than to see responsible, diaspora-driven investment contribute to its long-term development. However, the ongoing and increasingly frequent claims of report of corruption, regardless of where the ultimate truth may land, create a level of uncertainty that I cannot ignore. As someone who has built relationships, credibility, and business under U.S. legal and compliance standards, I have to be especially careful about where and how I encourage others to deploy their capital. In business, perception matters almost as much as reality. Even unproven or contested allegations can expose investors to reputational risk, regulatory scrutiny, contractual uncertainty, uneven enforcement of rules, difficult exit strategies. I am particularly concerned about the gap between policy on paper and execution in practice. When governance system appears strained or politicized, it becomes difficult to confidently assure partners that decisions will be consistently rule-based rather than discretionary. Because of this, I will feel irresponsible at this time actively encouraging or soliciting investment from my U.S. partners, no matter how well-intentioned they are. They are individuals and entities that rely on my judgment, not only for opportunity, but for protection from unnecessary risk. My current position is one of watchful restraint, monitoring how institutions respond to allegations, observing whether accountability mechanisms are strengthened, looking for clearer signals of transparency, consistency, and enforcement. Until I see meaningful reassurance in these areas, I believe it is wiser to pause rather than push forward out of emotions and national pride. This is not a rejection of Guyana's future. It is a call for stronger governance, clearer safeguards, and restored confidence. When those elements become more evident, I would be far more comfortable reopening conversation about partnership and investment. For now, my priority is to protect the trust my partners have placed in me while continuing to hope and advocate for a Guyana where opportunity and integrity move forward together. You hear what's going on? They can say whatever they want to say. The perception, let me call it perception. All right, it might not be reality. The perception is that Guyana is a dangerously corrupt place for people to invest their money. And it's not me saying that. That is the reality. That is The reality, this is a person saying he got partners and so on in the US, but he can, in good conscience, invite them or encourage them to go and invest in Ghana, given the atmosphere, and he spells out all the thing. He spells out all. The man in the red song like Jamaican. Man talk about his personal experience. And I have something more to talk about it. Before I do that, let me bring in CC. I'm sure CC is champing at the bit to obviously say on this allegation. It's allegation, you know. They are allegations made by this gentleman. CC, I'm sure that you have a lot to say, my brother. Go ahead.
Yeah, I listen carefully, you know, to the allegations by the Jamaican. And I show a lot of interest because I know Osoro well. I work at Mabrumo, and Osoro is a little off Mabrumo. It's up a hill. So it's up a hill, and the building of a school, and share corruption that the school can't done. The school can't done. A lot of people talking about it, and they're giving it in pieces. The little hostel here, the little thing here, and they can't done. And they remember the Jamaican use a word variation of or words variation of contract. There's one of the ways and means of the thief in the corruption there. You have to contract for one thing and then they get variation. They bring in this and they bring in that and they bring in the other. And Hosoro is a clear case. Hosoro, up on a hill. We used to pass through there on our way to Wongno, which is a agriculture area, and Yarakita, another agriculture area. But the amount of corruption that has passed through Hosoro school, you know, is mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling, and it's continuing all the time. It's continuing all the time, you know. And the allegations that a Jamaican made, you know, you gotta believe it. You gotta believe it. And it's staying in Guyana. Because he can encourage people to come and invest in Guyana. And all he wants is his money and let you pull out you and go along your way. But the corruption is there. Hosororo school, the secondary school that they're building there. All the corruption along there. Variation of contract. And there's way there.
Now, you know, again, I mean, it's terribly embarrassing, you know, to hear someone, when Guyanese talk about it, well, then people say, well, you get political allegiance, you're backing this party or the party, but this man looked like, he sounded like a foreigner. People saying Jamaican, contractor, comes here, he talking about his own experience. It's now somebody tell you what he experienced, you get money, man, tell them one from the time you get the thing. People making, and here, let me tell you something, because names are called, but it's not a case where he identifies any particular person, right? You can't name, yeah. But what is going to happen, given our past experiences and so on? You think anybody can launch any credible investigation into that? No, I have a strong suspicion that what is likely to happen, they're going to engage the weapon, they're going to weaponize the police cybercrime unit. They're going to weaponize, that is what my crystal ball is telling me. They're going to weaponize the cybercrime unit to go after him for cybercrime. And remember, in cybercrime now, you got to call him because the gentleman, Stanley, somebody from across the river, the car dealer, he talked about what he was told in relation to firearm license. $2 to $4 million to get a firearm license. Now what they do? They arrest him, charge him with cybercrime. He's put on $200,000 bail, and his U.S. passport has to be lodged at the court. So up to now, he can't leave. As far as the last report we get, can't leave because the passport is lodged, and he's trying to get the matter before the High Court so that the conditions of bail can be reviewed. Can't make it. He got it down there. So this man who made this video there, this allegation, chances are no proper investigation is going to be lodged into that. because he gave you some pointers where what they can look for. Talk about a variation. He mentioned a specific lot, I think lot 5 or something like that. I know this project sometimes are broken down into lots. It might give you enough to go on, but they're not going to investigate. If they didn't investigate the Sugate allegation, they did not investigate the Sugate allegation. You think they're going to investigate this? You think they're going to investigate this thing? They're going to tell you some disgruntled man, they're going to come with some BS, and that is part of the problem. But let me tell you this. Even though they will not investigate, I am sure international the international people, the embassies and the high commissions and all of that, right? The diplomatic community. I'm sure they're taking note of these things, you know. I am sure they are taking notes, but because they are diplomats, they're not going to come out openly and talk about it. Remember back in the day when they had WikiLeaks? When they had WikiLeaks, you had so many cables going from the U.S. Embassy in Guyana to Washington, pointing out all the association, the corrupt association and all that. They have it there. They have it there. They're going to look and they're going to keep it there. And let me say this, right? As I said, the man gave enough information for investigation to be done. Give enough. Because they must know so. Let me understand. If the man is a contractor doing work, he specific Osororo project. And I think Sherrod Duncan did some reporting on that project. Osororo project. Like most of the other projects. It's corruption. Corruption. But the gentleman got to keep, he want the money, he want to have millions of US dollars. And my brother, don't leave it there. Don't leave it. I guess you got to be worried about traveling to Guyana, got to pick you up and lock you up for cybercrime and all of that. But you have other avenues that you can lodge your complaint, man. You have other avenues. And you know, talking about that, only recently, within the past couple of days, there's a report, the corruption index. Corruption index. Guyana remains the most corrupt country in the English-speaking Caribbean. Last year, in 2024, I think they rated them as 39. 0 being the worst, 100 being the best. They rated at 39. The most corrupt countries in the English-speaking Caribbean. This 2025, they move up one place. They improved to 40. But still the most corrupt country in the entire English-speaking Caribbean. And when you compare them to the other English-speaking countries, Barbados, Jamaica, Trinidad, it's sad. Sad when you see that we're way behind. So they can say what they want to say, no corruption and all of that. But the international bodies are looking and seeing what is going on. They're looking and they're saying, right? And you believe the talk about investment, the president goes about encouraging people to go back home. See, we're going back, sir? When this man can say that the only petty crime he encountered is somebody carrying a camera. That is petty camera. But I want to tell you, it's petty because that is not going to be recorded as a serious crime in Guyana. That is not considered a serious crime. All these white-collar crimes, those are not serious crimes. But these are the things that are damaging the image and the economy of the country. They are damaging the image and the economy of the country. And when we talk about corruption, let me show you the next statement. Let me show you. Look at this one here too. Look at this one. Hold on. Did I not load it up? Yes. Look. Listen, this is a very short one. Listen to it.
Ồ, quá trời sáng tạo. Đó, đi như vậy cho tốc độ.
No, there's a mistake. I think I did a wrong thing there. So I can't show it now. I can show it the next day. Right? I made a mistake there in loading that one. So I ain't gonna get time to load it. But it's a statement made by Parliament garnished by Paul. Not a statement. Something he discovered in Parliament there during the consideration for the estimates. Consideration for the estimates. I'm going to see if I get it to show you all it. Because basically what happened, he going through the line, found out that some $2.7 billion, right, estimated last year for some set of work. And it's the same, well, this year, 2.8 billion for the same set of work. The same set of work. And when he pointed it out, you know what was the response of the minister? I got to try and get it uploaded to see. You know what the response of the minister? We are looking forward. This is 2026. Don't go back to 2025. We are looking forward. That was the response of the minister in Parliament. When discrepancies are pointed out in the 2026 estimates, discrepancies to the tune of $2.8 billion, the minister said, well, you talking about last year. We into this year, so we shouldn't look at last year discrepancies. That is what is going on. That is what is going on. And then, as somebody said, let me did I get this one? Let me see. Cocaine still passing. Cocaine, who letting the cocaine pass? Right? You know, they had a saying when they had a coalition, what you used to say? They had a saying with the coalition, but now with the PPP, it's cocaine. Cocaine. Let me show you. This is a news item from Rice and Jakes. Listen.
The Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit (CANU) has confirmed that overseas law enforcement agencies intercepted cocaine concealed in 2 separate shipping containers originating from Guyana. The interceptions took place in Europe and South America early this month. According to CANU, the containers were declared as carrying rice and chemicals and were inspected before leaving Guyana. No anomalies and irregularities were detected at the time. Preliminary information indicates that the containers were transshipped en route to their final destinations. As such, it is highly likely that the consignments were contaminated during the transshipment process, CANU said. This method of exploiting transshipment points to introduce illicit narcotics is a known tactic used by transnational drug trafficking networks seeking to circumvent security measures at ports of origin. Head of CANU James Singh told this newscast that the bust took place in Belgium and Colombia. Given the sensitive nature of the ongoing inquiries, further details cannot be disclosed at this time. CANU emphasized that investigations are ongoing and it is working closely with international partners as well as domestic agencies such as the Guyana Revenue Authority and the Guyana Police Force. The Drug Enforcement Agency reiterated its commitment to combating narcotics trafficking and strengthening cooperation with regional and international partners to dismantle criminal networks. The CANU statement said they are also actively collaborating with domestic law enforcement and regulatory agencies, including the Guyana Revenue Authority and the Guyana Police Force, as part of ongoing investigations into this matter.
Yeah. They say, you know, when the coalition was there, you say, let the blow, blow, blow. Let the blow, 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 blow. But once PPP around, let the cocaine flow. So the cocaine flowing. Well, they're saying that, you know, the containers were loaded in Guyana. One supposed to have rice, one supposed to get chemicals. In Belgium, when they intercept them there, they get cocaine in the thing. Cocaine. So they're suggesting that maybe it was the containers didn't go directly from Guyana to Belgium. It was they stopped somewhere, so maybe they could have loaded it in. But we remember not so long ago, remember cocaine loaded or containers loaded in Guyana. When they arrived somewhere in Europe, cocaine in it. And when they go to check, they discovered, they said that the CCTV and the scanner that they used weren't working at them time and all them everything. That is what is going on. That is what is going on. But whether it was low, let me understand this thing clearly. Let me give them some benefit. Because the fact that the shipment emanated from Guyana, right? It's again your reputation at stake. Your reputation, because I get a lot of people can believe that the cocaine loaded right in Guyana. So even if, for argument's sake, you say, well, it could have been loaded elsewhere, it could have been, but given our reputation as a transshipment point for cocaine, tons and tons of cocaine intercepted, you believe that people can believe you? You believe people can believe? So that is where we are. That is where we are. Let me bring in CC, man. Cocaine, you know, Region 1, as we said, CC is the cocaine capital of Guyana. CC, the cocaine capital. So, all them type of thing. We're going to talk about that some other time, Toro. Yeah, go ahead, my boy.
Yeah, you know, we already had a repetition, you know. So, it won't be surprising, and whether or not it was loaded in Guyana, it originated in Guyana. So you're telling me on the way to Belgium, on the way to Colombia, somebody intercepted somewhere and put on the cocaine there, and then you might hear, scanner wasn't working and all sort of things. And then Jameson is very, very secretive because there's certain things you can't talk, you won't talk because of the sensitive nature of the investigation. But we already get the repetition, we already get a bad name. So any little thing that's, it come from Guyana, and then the cocaine got a pass. And the PPP got a repetition when the government, three things. Debt got to happen, drugs got to happen, and fire. Fire, debt, and drugs. You watch it. Go back and check when the PPP is in power. Debt, cocaine, and fire. So I'm not surprised that, cocaine, that shipment that originated from Guyana end up in Belgium and Colombia with cocaine inside. There's a transshipment. Well, if it's transshipment, it's transshipment. But the thing is that it originated from Guyana.
Well, let me say this, one of the most fascinating technology that I just look at is these military aircraft refueling midair. It fascinates me. It fascinates me, the precision, a jet fighting, and then a tanker come and up in there, how much 1,000 feet in the air they can do, and the thing. So maybe you get things like that happening too when the shipment left empty. Maybe you have some type of arrangement, some type of technology where in the ocean, cocaine can go about these things and so on. Can happen, technology, man. President talking a lot about technology, and recently, and when the ongoing police officers conference, when he opened it on Wednesday, he talk a lot about technology. We ain't got time for going to it today, but we can talk about that. So maybe that is it. Now, the next thing that we have, CC, what has got a lot. I was shocked to see this yesterday. I think yesterday rain a lot of yesterday. That was Georgetown, part of Georgetown yesterday. It was heartbreaking to see some people in West, right? Water gone into the room. You remember loving there? They sweep outside with a broom. The little dog laughed to see such fun, and they just run away with spoon. Wild Gilbert. It's sad to see poor people punishing like that. Water gone into these people's place. Lady said she went to sleep the night. She went to get your phone and swan low, charging. When she wake up your water. But these things are predictable. This flooding, because if you drive around the place, they are narrowing and filling in trenches and canals, narrowing them. Look, go down Carifest Avenue. Those wide canals now, they're widening the road, so they're closing in the canal, which is supposed to take off water and so on. So that is one of the reasons. You don't have to be an engineer to recognize that. That is one of the reasons the place for the water to flow. Look at the access road to the Ogle Airport. They had a big canal on the eastern side. They fill that in to make a road. So where the water can go? When the rain falls, where will that water go? In people's yard. There's more flooding you're talking about. More flooding. Because the sad thing is that the coast is under sea level. And if the rain falls for any duration time, when the tide is high, and those cocas, those are closed, you got to get flood. The water has nowhere to go until such time that the tide recedes, and then you open the coca. That is a big problem. Another problem, go around the place, all them drains, enough bush, growth, overgrown, bottles, lot of plastic, another debris. It is there. So what you expect? What you expect? No proper maintenance of the drains and so on, the drains and the canal. But it's sad because it's poor people get punished because a lot of the ones who are better off, they get elevated living quarters, and therefore they are out of the water. But when you live at a low flat place there, and the water rushing for you, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? But it's at all the money that you have, all the money that's spending, build infrastructure. You have that, no proper drainage. No proper drainage. So what do you expect? No proper enforcement arrangement too, because a lot of the littering that we have seen, right, is the people, no proper education, no proper enforcement. Some people get your plastic bottle, you throw them outside. It gone, it blocking up the place. Some of the people are responsible for it, you must admit. We must admit that some of the residents are responsible because they behave in an irresponsible way. They throw all sort of debris and all sort of things into those waterways and canals and drains and so on. So you're going to get the type of flooding. You're going to get the flooding. CC, I hope well, luckily where you live, I don't get flood. The only time we had flood where you live is 2005 in the Great Flood on the East Coast. Other than that, we don't get flood. Right? CC, hope you're not flooded out.
Not really much, because I woke up when it was raining. And Paul, in all my life, I never experienced the rain coming down so heavily. I never experienced it. My backyard was flooded. I never see it so much of water. I have a canal at the back of the yard, the canal overflow, and I never see so much of water at the back of my yard. But saying I never experienced heavy rain like what I experienced that morning there. I got up and it came down really heavily. But praise God, that my yard is high. I built it up well, so, but the thing is that other persons nearby, some of my neighbor, the whole yard flooded, but the water receded before the day was over. And some of us, is we contributed to them because we doing construction work and all the waste and everything that we just throw them about the place, block up all the drains and all kind of thing, So sometimes we gotta take blame ourselves because of the actions that we took.
Yeah, we contribute. Many people contribute to it, but then that's what's about enforcement, because we have to have the authorities enforce. People don't like to hear that, right? The truth is that you have these agencies because people cannot be expected, all of us cannot be expected to do the right thing. So that is why you have to have agencies to pull us in line, charge us when we do the wrong thing. So you have to have that. You have to have that because that is how modern societies function. But now we move on to this issue. We get about just over half an hour more. I'm talking about this raid that they had on Wednesday at Mohammed Enterprise on Lombard Street. We spoke about it a little on Wednesday, but then so many things have been revealed since then. I'm going to read an article, and then we're going to analyze what really transpired. This is something, Wednesday the 11th, day before yesterday, they carried out a raid at Mohammed Enterprise. And this is some Dennis Sherbrall. Here we say. Here what he says. The Ghana Police Force Special Organized Crime Unit, so cool, Wednesday night released a video to back up its claim that an illegal cameo was busted at the now shuttered Mohammed's Enterprise on Lombard Street. But proprietor Azuddin Mohammed denied that foreign exchange trading was being done at the location. Quote, the search was conducted based on credible information that the cameo was operating even though the license was revoked. Essentially, this information led to law enforcement agencies to conduct operations which prove that the information of continued cameo services without the required license was credible. End of quote. That is what Soku said. The video, which was time-stamped 27th of January 2026 and released by the police force, shows one of the men who was arrested on Wednesday giving a woman money through a cashier cage. It appears that the person who went to conduct what appeared to be a transaction was wired with a video recording device. However, Mr. Mohammed denied that an illegal cambio was being operated there. Quote, "That is untrue. Never, ever. I looked at the video and I have not seen no United States dollars," end of quote, Mr. Mohammed said. He's also the Ghanaian leader of the opposition, is what he said. The video shows the man holding what appeared to be a banknote, after which he conks a few notes and gives the woman, who leaves almost immediately. In a second video dated January 28, 2026, another man in the cashier cage counted what he audibly said 22 as he handed someone outside. The person counted the 4 $5,000 bills and 2 $1,000 bills. Mr. Mohammed, whose foreign exchange dealer license was revoked in June 2024, almost immediately after he and his father, Nazir Shel Mohammed, was sanctioned by the U.S. Treasury Department Office of Foreign Asset Control, OFAC, for alleged gold smuggling and tax evasion from the Ghana government, confirmed that hundreds of US dollars were in the building. However, he said that the amount could not be proof that an unlicensed cambio was in operation. Quote here now, "If we were buying US, how come we had just a small amount of Ghana and only 500 US dollars, right? We should have had thousands, even millions of US dollars," he said, end of quote. Shortly after the search and seizure of the money and several boxes of documents, he told reporters that just under 2 million Ghana dollars was taken away by the police. Video on his Facebook page showed a plastic bag of money being emptied on the floor of his Lambert Street building. Mr. Ahmed said the monies were being kept to assist the less fortunate who turn up on a daily basis. Soku said charges would be laid shortly. The unit said several persons were taken into custody and were assisting with ongoing inquiries. Court investigations remain active, and further enforcement action will be taken where the evidence so warrants, end of quote. Mr. Mohammed said that 5 staff members who were arrested on Wednesday were released at 8 p.m. on their own recognizance. Soku said it was conducting a detailed examination of the items that were seized. Then it's quoted, "During the course of the operation, officers uncovered evidence of illegal financial operations and additional material believed to be connected to unlawful activities were recovered at the location. All items seized are currently subject to active forensic and financial investigation," end of quote, Soku said. Though the exact offenses were not mentioned in the statement, Soku said it, quote, "targeted joint law enforcement operations," end of quote, "has unearthed credible information that illicit activities were taking place at the premises." The Ghana Police Force said Wednesday's action was part of an intensified national and regional security strategy aimed at disrupting organized criminal networks engaged in gold smuggling, illicit financial flows, unlicensed money exchange operations, and related serious offenses, end of quote. It reflects strengthening coordination among domestic law enforcement agencies, joint services, and regional partners to confront cross-border criminal activities and protect the integrity of Guyana's financial and security architecture, Soku added. Soku said the Guyana government remained unwavering in its commitment to combat illegal activities, including the purchase, smuggling, and sale of gold, money laundering, illegal cambio services, and associated financial crimes, in close collaboration with regional counterparts and international partners. The law enforcement agency said Guyana would continue to pursue coordinated enforcement operations to safeguard economic stability, strengthening border security, and ensure that those engaged in unlawful conduct are held accountable under the law. Soku said the video evidence confirms that the Mohammed's claims of political persecution and vindictiveness were false. The police unit which is part of Ghana's anti-money laundering architecture, assert that it is a professional agency that, quote, performs its lawful function with a strict mandate without any political influence, and would like to categorically state that no one is above the law when enforcing its statutory duties. End of quote. That was a long read, I know. That was a long read. But let me say this before I bring in CC. I get enough to talk about it. Enough. Let me begin by saying this. And I made a note here. No one should be above the law. I completely agree with that. No one is above the law. I think in Ghana, the only body who is immune from prosecution for criminal activities while in office is the president. And even my understanding, when he demits office, he can be held accountable for certain action. No one should be above the law, right? And that I say further, the law should not be enforced. This is why I say no one should be, but then the law should not be enforced selectively. Anyone who breaks the law must suffer the consequences. The law should not be enforced selectively or based on political affiliation or connections. That is why I say should be enforced uniform all across the board. The police must not be seen to be tools of political directorate. Should not be seen to be a tool of the political directorate. Right? Now, I'll tell you how they release it. There are certain disturbing things about this release, which I will go into in a short while. Certain disturbing things. Right? They then what happened? The people were arrested, taken there. A lawyer complained on social media, Mr. Dujan, that he went there to see his client at Southco headquarters and was prevented from seeing his clients. He was prevented from going in. And you know what I told him? Oh, a lie. I think they say county Australian 5 persons were arrested. Some say maybe 3, right? But the police telling them you can't go, the lie can't go because another lie was already represented. Imagine that. Imagine that. Even if another lie was there, you stopping the others from getting, the one lie was there representing all 3. But that is the type of unprofessional behavior you have. The type of unprofessional behavior, and you get people like the bar or associate that say silent, they're quiet, they don't say anything. But here it is again. Remember not so long ago, Soku arrested Ramana at Soku, arrested a lawyer right there at Soku headquarters for advising her client not to sign a statement or give a statement to the police. She was arrested for that. Here you have a case where a lawyer turns up at Soku to represent his client to me, and he's denied entry. He's denied. The guy at the gate said she get instruction, she or he get instruction not to allow him in. And these things are allowed to go like that. And all the bar association and all the liars will sit back. But let me tell y'all before I bring in CC. Let me read to y'all again, Pastor Martin Niemala. First, they came for the communists, and I did not speak out because I was not a communist. Then they came for the socialists. I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists. I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews. I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. Y'all sit back and allow these things to happen. Sit back. This same unit over and over, Same unit. And nothing can happen. People staying quiet. Well, the lawyer who was arrested did go to court and get judgment against the police. And what happened? The man who arrested Ramana, the man got promotion, man. The man was promoted. Right? So let me understand that. I got some more to think, but I know CC is champing at the bits and obviously. So CC, come in and say what you have to say about this matter.
First, let me make it clear that I hold no brief for the Mohammeds. I hold no brief for the Mohammeds. And the same man who arrested the lawyer got 2 promotions. He moved from assistant superintendent to superintendent, and then later on, shortly after, senior superintendent. Well, the police, I wonder why they say they get evidence, and they put in the evidence in the public domain. I wonder why they're not keeping it for court. You know, they put it, they set the evidence and they put it before the public, and then they talk about intelligence-led conduct a raid. I don't know, but if you want to do certain things, it should be airtight. I didn't hear about anything, but they had, if they said they had intelligence, that they were at credible information and evidence that the thing was going on. I didn't hear anything about that they had mark money, and somebody tell them they mark money and they hold on to the person and the money and all kind of thing. It sounds so clumsy. If you say you have is intelligence led and you have credible evidence there, and then you go in and all you do, you show us a video, you hear somebody talking, hey, that's $67,000, like somebody telling something, but you know if it's US money or what a tender, and then the person hand over money, they say $60-something thousand, but there's no what we call hard evidence. I would have think like when we used to do price control case, that used to mark money. You left the station with the mark money and all kind of thing there, and then when persons buy things, you seize the money and this kind of thing, but you don't hear them kind of thing, So to me, the operation appeared to be wishy-washy, very, very wishy-washy. And bearing in mind, they said it's intelligence-led and they get credible information. It wishy-washy. It's to me, it is not credible what they're putting out there.
Let me analyze a part of this statement that they put out, because I mean it is concerning, and I said at this statement analysis, let me analyze this part, right? So the Ghana Police Force said Wednesday's action was part of an intensified national and regional security strategy aimed at disrupting organized criminal networks engaged in gold smuggling, illicit financial flows, unlicensed money exchange operations, and related serious offenses. It reflects strengthening coordination among domestic law enforcement agencies, joint services, and regional partners to confront cross-border criminal activity and protect the integrity of Guyana's financial architecture. That is a end of. Let me stop there. Let me stop there. First of all, let me say this. Y'all listen carefully, students. Share the life, of warming up on this subject. This part of the statement attributed to Soku, nobody in the police force can write that. Listen to me carefully. When I read this and analyze this statement about this targeted, it reflects a strengthening coordination among the domestic law enforcement agencies, joint services, and regional partners to confront cross-border criminal activity and to protect the integrity of Guyana's financial and security architecture. Nobody in the police force, SOCU, or any other agency in the police force, they didn't write that. They did not write that. You understand? And as beyond that, if you're talking about, you're dealing with this enhanced operation, you get people who illegally operating cambios and so on. What happened to all them other people changing money all over the place and operating illegally? Not only the people on Guyana's Wall Street, America Street known as Wall Street, but go to the supermarkets, go to a lot of the grocery stores, go to them Chinese places, go outside New Amsterdam market and all those places. People changing money openly. They're operating cambio openly. So if you're saying that this is part, why have you not dealt with them? And then I see a statement, or I saw a statement attributed to one, I think it's Kiana Wilberg. I think she said Starbucks or something. She writes to say, let me read because I'm gonna. She writes to say, She says some distinction is important. Let me read it. It's not long. There are many ways one can view the entire debacle involving the recent sting operation by Soku at Mohammed's Enterprise. In the absence of the footage released by Soku yesterday, many were under the impression that it was a clear case of political persecution. The footage, however, shows clearly that police organization acted on reliable information, set up a sting operation, and caught the unlicensed establishment carrying out money-changing operations. That distinction is important. We cannot view the subsequent enforcement of the law as political persecution simply because it is uncomfortable. You cannot on one hand profess to be a champion of addressing corruption and highlighting those who think they can flout the law, but then deflect when you're caught red-handed. Accountability is not optional. Remember, then here what the part. Further, this is the part I wanted to listen to. Further, why are we trying to draw parallels to the money changers in America Street? None of them are facing indictable offenses, nor were they sanctioned by the U.S. government. There is absolutely no comparison. Madam, there's a big comparison, because what you're suggesting here is that unless you are sanctioned by the U.S. government, unless you're facing indictment, then you're not going to be dealt with. You're not going to be dealt with under this money changing thing. That is what you're saying. That is what you're saying. So what this she's writing to say that further you couldn't draw a parallel between Mohammed allegation they operating illegal cambio and the other illegal cambios. You know why? Because Mohammed is facing indictment in the U.S. and he is sanctioned. So therefore, the law different. Somehow the law is different. Somehow the law is different. Balderdash. The thing is clear. It shows that there's political interference in the whole process. And again, as I start out to say, no one should be above the law. And if it is that the Mohammeds were operating illegally, fine, deal with them. But other people are operating illegal too, deal with them as well. But you can't come to say you get this national and regional wide thing, and therefore that is why you do this. And then in the same release by the police, they're targeting gold smuggling. You're targeting gold smuggling. So what happened to the allegation made by Junior Bash, where he identified an elaborate gold smuggling scheme involving Venezuelan military and local operatives? What happened to that? That allegation was made months and months ago. What have you done? What have you done? Absolutely nothing. You know why? Because they were named Mohammed. They were named Azuddin or Shell Mohammed. So allegation can be made, credible allegation with tremendous details can be made about gold smuggling with those persons, and nothing can happen. And then you get a gall to give a release to say that this is part of an ongoing operation to target money launderers and all this stuff. As I said, this is not the police write this. Police didn't write this, right? I know the auditors write. They didn't write this. And then hear this crap what they write to me. Why I know, again, that police didn't write this. Hear what this paragraph says. Soku said that the government of Guyana remains unwavering in its commitment to combat illegal activities, include the purchase, smuggling, and sale of gold, money laundering, illegal cambio services, and associated financial crime. Soku talking about on behalf of the government. A unit of the Guyana Police Force is giving a statement here on behalf of the government. Y'all hear nonsense here? Or as Nile Element would say, you hear nonsense this? This exposes the organization. This exposes the organization. When you write in to say, talking about government remain unwavering, that is not police work. Even when police give releases, police don't do that. So that's what I'm telling you, it's not police write this, it's some jackass, and pardon me for insulting jackass, would write something like this and put it in the name of Soku. And these people and see how they're exposing their incompetence. How can you do that? How can you? They don't even get the nimbleness of intellect to put language in such a way to at least try to convince people that it was written by the police. They didn't even get that. They're right. And from the time you read it, sir, I said, no police and write that. I said, no police and write that. Because I know how police is right. And I know, as I said, when you analyze this here, I know to do statement analysis. And I did the analysis, and I said, well, look at stupidity. The thing is so clear, transparent, that none of the police. They're right, and they put police name, and police, Soku got to accept, well, it emanated from them. None of them in Soku can write that. None of them in the police force can write in that. None. None. So let me understand it. Let me understand. Right? Let me understand. Let me bring it back. Let me say this before I go off, man. Let me say this part. All right. Let me let me put on a real police cap. Now you carry out this raid, you find money. How you linking the money, I don't know. Because as CC said, you don't even do a proper sting to say, well, the undercover person get marked money, marked US dollars, and then they go and they exchange it. And therefore, when you search, you find the marked US dollar for make them type of nexus, type of link. They did not do that. Now, all right. It is clear from all that we saw there that none of the Mohammeds, Asadin or his father, they were not there. They were not there. So how are you linking them to this? You want to say vicarious liability? How do you prove? Because I remember in the trading when they had price control back in the day. Price control back in the day, if you own a shop and you had some employee working at the shop and they sold above the price control price, right? You would arrest and you charge the employee and you charge the owner as well, because you said the owner was vicariously liable. And the reason why the owner was vicariously liable, because you would show that the owner would benefit from the transaction. The owner benefited from the transaction. So if you're going to want to say Asadin Mohammed and his father are vicariously liable for the actions of these people who are there, you're making a link to say that they can benefit from this transaction. That is what you're going to try to do. And more than that, this is the sweet part. How you linking, you're charging Asadin Mohammed? You yourself said not so long ago that you ought to discontinue the criminal charge against Asadin Mohammed in relation to this Lamborghini and all them fraud thing, all them how much $1 billion. You ought to discontinue in light of the ongoing extradition proceedings. You said so. You have to go to court and withdraw those charges. So you're going to institute charges now against Asadin Mohammed. This is a whole big spectacle. All big spectacle designed to bring down Mohammed. As I said, y'all been together. Y'all were like Bati and Poe, right? Y'all like Bati and Poe. So consumer said, take that for your fastness. Y'all were all in it together. All in it. So when people like me and others complain about the vindictiveness of the PPP, y'all were part of the PPP then. When the PPP came after me in 20, well, long, they're always coming after me. They came after me first in 2003. Y'all remember in Bobby's? That came after me, tried to get rid of me of the force and so on. Then they came after me again in 2010 when I retired. Charles Ramson, Attorney General, sue me because I made a statement. Sue me, right? Then they came after me when I was chairman of the Police Office Commission again. Charged for conspiracy to commit fraud. Charge still going on in court and so on. How many charges that thing? They're coming after me. And what y'all doing? How you sit back? Y'all were all part of the thing then. So bend over. You know the tune them young people know what I'm talking about. Bend over. Take your thing. And they put it up for you. No grease, no lubricant. They put it for you raw. Take it, man. Take it raw. Take it. Y'all were all part and parcel. As I said, Pastor Niemola. When they came for me, nobody didn't think because you didn't pass. You know, they're coming for you. And remember what GSK Lal said, right? Where is GSK Lal statement? Let me gotta read it to y'all as well. GSK Lal said, what we have today is not a government, but a gang of gangsters. For the most part, what Guyanese have for leaders today are nothing but out of control lunatics. pathological liars, unreconstructed racists, and political sadists. And let me talk, when you talk about ticks, you get cow tick, you get dog tick, them the bad. But this type of tick, lunatic, is a different type of tick. Lunatic is a different type of tick. So this whole spectacle, let me see where it will go. Let us see where it will go. Because I still want to see the charging as a little more for anything. Or even if the charge the employees out there proving that, I don't know how they're going to go about doing that. I don't know. CC, maybe you can advise them how they're going to go about to prove that.
This whole thing, Paul, is about selective enforcement. Because money changing there all over the place. As you mentioned, some places, America Street, you go to Rose Hall, you go to Springlands, New Amsterdam, all about the places there. Chinese business places, it there, but they're not thinking them. They're thinking Mohammed because of political influence, almost because of political directives that they're taking the orders from politicians. Go at Mohammed. At all costs, go at Mohammed. And when they go to Mohammed, they're screwing up with the arrangements. They're screwing up with the arrangement because they're not doing the correct thing. And as you mentioned, how they're going to charge Mohammed. Then after they charge him, they might go back in court and withdraw the charge, you know. The whole thing is a mockery of the policing arrangements. A mockery of the policing arrangements. And all because they're taking political directives. Political directives put them in what we call in deep shit.
But no, you see, and the problem is, CC, is that you have people who are incompetent. The people who are incompetent, so even when they following these directives to do these things, they don't have the competence to make sure that they cover themselves and they do it in a very professional, for want of a better word, manner. They have so many loopholes. That is part of the big problem. So many loopholes they have. That is part of the problem. Because when you're going to make a statement again, let me take the statement. Their statement attributed to them, not written by them, attributed to them. They talk about this countrywide and regional-wide campaign. And they only name Mohammed so far. No, who else for gold smuggling? Who else for operating illegal cambio? So nobody else, only this thing that they had on Wednesday. Only that. So that points to political persecution. So this writer from, Wilbur, what's she write? Again, they write these things, and she is writing to suggest that the only reason that they raiding the Mohammeds is because the Mohammeds are sanctioned and they're facing extradition charges. So there's a different level and different category now. So the fact that others are doing the same thing, well, you can't enforce against them because they are not sanctioned and they are not faced. So she said what? She said what? There's no comparison or some nonsense. You can't draw no parallel. That is what that woman wrote. That is what they wrote. You want to know where we are. Where are we when you come to this thing? The evidence is clear from the speaker's action in summoning the meeting to elect the leader of the opposition. Even before that, Kanti Nandalal, they received extradition request on the 30th of October 2025. They arrested the next day, Friday, the 31st of October 2025. They say that you got to go to, well, Parliament was on the Monday, the 3rd of November. It is clear that when he was arrested on the Friday, the expectation was that he would have been remanded, and therefore he could not have gone to Parliament to be sworn in as a member of Parliament. Them said so. They are the ones who said so, not me. I'm just repeating what they said. So the intention was not to have him sworn in as a member of Parliament. And if you're not sworn in as a member of Parliament, you can't be elected as a leader of the opposition. And I say this because the whole thing backfired. Because if he was remanded, there's no way he would have been released in time to go to Parliament on the 3rd of November 2025. He wouldn't have gone. And once that sitting there was adjourned, for all you know, even before it was adjourned, the speaker, Nadir, would have called the meeting to elect the opposition leader the same day, because Azudin would not have been there. And even if it was not called on that day, he has shown he would have never called it. He would have never called for swearing before. He would have had to call a separate meeting or at some subsequent meeting to have him, not necessarily a separate, but to have him sworn in as a member of parliament before you proceed with the election. So the whole thing backfired. So the thing is clear. The delay by the speaker to call the meeting, all part of the thing. The speaker decided that he must be the moral police of the parliament. It is there. International and local pressure caused him. He got up on the speaker I'm referring to, go on the radio, NCN, and make big speech. That is what is happening. So this is all about Azudin Mohammed. This is all about Azudin Mohammed. Nothing more. So they come and hoodwink we and tell we are sort of crap. We born in the night, but we are born last night. Let me understand. We are born last night. Now, I don't think we have enough time to go through. I have something else I wanted to touch on briefly. So let me start it off. And then we can connect, continue with it the next day. You know, the guy, as we said, they had the opening of the police annual officers conference. I think they said Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So today might be the last day. It's strange because normally I know Thursday, Friday, Saturday, but for whatever reason they put it Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That is that their prerogative. But you know, the president during the opening made some statement. He made some statement. Let me read one of the statements that the president made. And somebody, let me tell you all one of the statements. The president said, this is carried in iNews, one of the PVP propaganda arm. It is said, President Dr. Irfan Ali has ordered a comprehensive restructuring of the Guyana Police Force's public communication system, warning that poor, unstructured, or ineffective communication can undermine law enforcement efforts and fuel public mistrust. Addressing the opening ceremony of the annual police officers conference on Wednesday, the head of state emphasized communication is central to the success of modern policing and must be treated as a strategic function rather than an afterthought. Mr. President, you got a commissioner there who you keep on after he passed the age of retirement. He don't even communicate with the media and the Guyanese public. And you got a gall to tell people about the importance of communication. We know it's important. We know, but you use it. They like to say use a commander in chief. Use a big, use the head honcho. So why the commissioner is not relating to the media? People complain that even when they ask questions in the joint services WhatsApp group, they know that the messages are read and there are no responses, none whatsoever. Yeah, we listen because we have been talking about the communication problem for the longest while. And this thing, let me say this. And the media people will tell you that prior to 2020, we had people like Ivora Whittaker, David Ramnarine, John Sayers, you had Ram Lakan, you had Patrick Mentor, and policemen who were the public relations officer. And the media people will tell you, you having them issues with the police officers in terms of communication and giving information. But what happened? When they came into office in 2020, shortly thereafter, they decided they're bringing in civilians, more like propagandists. They brought in Mark Ramatar and Stan Govaya, two civilians to run that department. And things have gone downhill rapidly over the years. in our research, so the media people complain all the time. They complain. First of all, they bring Mark Ramatar there, pay big money, and the man used to write that scandal bond, right? This is the man who wrote, I will never forget it. There was a decomposed body found across the river, and the man said that the decomposed body was taken to the hospital to be pronounced dead. So he was suggesting that the decomposed body could have been alive. That's the official release from the police. And there's only one of the nonsense he wrote. One, a decomposed body. Imagine that. A decomposed body was taken to the hospital to be pronounced dead. So if you're taken to be officially pronounced dead, then you're suggesting that it could have been alive. Could have been alive. They are the ones who destroy that unit. They are the ones. And let me tell you this, because when I attended the FBI Academy, one of the courses I did was media relations and so on, media relations. And one of the problems they're making, this is what perhaps somebody can tell the president, because based on what he said, he looked like he said, he does either listen or they're going to tell you. You need to make a clear distinction between, in a police context, between public information and public relations. They are not the same. They are not one and the same. Public information and public relations. What the police need is a vibrant public, well, perhaps two units, but the public information unit should deal with public information, interact with the media, interact with social media and otherwise, interact with the public and provide valuable, credible public information. But they bring in Mark Ramatar and them, they come to give propaganda. They come, and that is one of the worst things you can do, because then you're going to lose credibility as they have done. Nobody believes anything that the police release. No one believes the releases issued by the police. Because first of all, when Mark Ramatar, I know better, he gone. I hear he had a cussing out with Aiken, and he gone. The man used to write some long thing with some unnecessary information. He believed he wrote some Z-class movie. And the man used to expose policemen and women by providing the name and the number and all sort of thing. I would never forget they carried some operation along with the Ministry of Education at a school, I think in Wolford Avenue. And I was shocked to see in the police release, they stated the names of the teachers, the names of the policemen who were involved in that operation. That is what they did. Unprofessional police gun operation, ASP this and that with motor car number so. What is the relevance of that? What is the relevance of giving the car number or the vehicle number and the rank of a gazetted officer and all them crap they used to write? It's a lot of nonsenseness they used to write. So they encouraged it because they brought on these people and they decided they were going to civilize that unit. And I have, as I've said, when we were looking at the reform, I remember the English people were here to assist. I was part of the thing to deal with the media policy. We had people from the media, practicing media personnel. I think one of the men was Beverly. Can't remember, one was Beverly from English Manicom. And we agreed that maybe we need to have some civilian into the public relations or the public information unit, right? To bring that perspective into it. We agreed. But they brought in people who came there to give propaganda, and that's not what you want. That's the worst thing you can have in a police force. People who are there to give information and giving out wrong information. Because in these days of social media, in the days of everybody get a phone with a camera, you're going to be skinned up, as we say. We've seen it not only in Guyana, but elsewhere. You come out with a statement, big statement, and you make a statement, and then footage coming up to prove you're wrong. You're losing the credibility. And once you lose the credibility, you can't regain that. That's not going to be regained easily. So the police are at a position now when it comes to public information and public relation where they have lost all credibility. And it's going to be a very difficult task to regain some of that. Yeah, getting rid of Ramatar is perhaps one of the things, right? But if you're going to talk about other aspects of communication and interaction, you got to get rid of your kid too, because you don't talk to the media. The last time the man had a media interaction is a couple of years ago. Right? Y'all remember that? He and Blanham called a press conference to debunk the claim by Sergeant Bascom. And the thing backfired spectacularly. And since then, not another, that's about 2 years ago, not another media relation. And when Brackley at the sidelines of them activity, he talking a lot of crap when the Brackley lie. Remember in the Brutus case? In the Brutus case, let me see, I get a little time out. Today's Friday. Let me see if I can find the man reaction in the Brutus case. I'm not sure if I have it queued up, but just in case I have it, let me see if I can find it to show it to y'all. I don't think it's on the platform. I don't think it's on the platform. I think we might have taken it off, and then we got to look it for break. But the man lied. When he was asked about Brutus, he lied. He said, no investigation going on. No, not at all. Not at all. And then shortly after evidence surfaced, that he lied. And as I said, that's the worst thing to do, because once you lie one time, everything you say after then, people are going to view with a little bit of a whole bag of salt. Let me bring in CC for have his say on that, and we're going to look to Bob out shortly. CC?
Yeah, as you mentioned, they dismantle the public relations department, bringing Ramutar and others to propagate propaganda, and that's exactly what they do. Unlike what we saw with Ivla Whitaker, Toro, David Ramnarine, Ramlakan, and others, those persons used to give us credible, and they used to promote the Guyana police force. Now what he was doing, and talking about lying, lying get consequences. They told President Trump so, that lying get consequences, and somebody said, if you pick up a stick, you pick up the old stick. And if you jump off a 20-story building, you can't change your mind on the 10th story because gravity is in charge. So they need to make sure that they have a proper communication or public relations unit to give credible information to the public and to interact with the public. The commission must be able to go and talk and interface, especially when the story is hot. Go and talk. But no, they're hiding away themselves, and then they're not giving you any kind of information, and then they're lying. And as I said before, lying get consequences. Lying get consequences.
Yeah, serious consequences too. Serious consequences. Folks, I told you when it was on Wednesday, I told you about this activity. Let me show it up here. So, Ipadagy has this, it's when it's Sunday at 7 p.m. Ghana time, I think it is. Let me see if I can pull it up, the information. A lecture, Dr. David Hines, I'm going to do a presentation on Dr. Walter Rodney's book, How Europe Underdeveloped Africa. This is the Zoom information for that session. And I encourage you to make sure that you join and be educated. Join and be educated. I would also encourage you to listen to not doctor, he is in my view, is a doctor, former Minister of Finance, Winston Jordan. Yesterday, he talked about all the fat in the budget. Listen to that. It's on YouTube, on CAMS TV. Listen to that. You will be amazed, I suspect, by some of the things that have been revealed in that budget. Listen, as Dr. Dr. Winston Jordan analyzed aspects of that budget, right? Listen to it. And let me tell you too, as we're looking to bow out now, let me say that today is Friday. I want you to have a splendid weekend. Do but don't overdo. Again, I got to compliment you for your attendance today. over 2,400 on the live. And I know you're going to be there. For those who can't make the live, going to go on YouTube. We are encouraged by the attendance every day on this program. We are encouraged. And we are also encouraged by the comments. Then people tell us to keep up the good work, that we're doing an excellent job and so on. We too need a little compliment now and again. So we need that. We need that. And we also need, for those who can afford to make a contribution, to make the contribution. Yes, Mary, we talk about Valentine's Day is tomorrow. Valentine's Day is tomorrow. And Monday is President Day. Monday is President. But let me tell you too, Monday, y'all, we got over 2,300 people on the live. Y'all listen to me. I have court on Monday. I have court on Monday. Now, given what I expect that we should still have classes on Monday, because the court on Monday is at 9 o'clock Guyana time, right? 9 o'clock Guyana time. And it's for, I think it's a report. I got to interact with my lives over the weekend. It's a report, and this is for report. It shouldn't last too long. So I'm hoping that it finishes before, it finishes in time for me to open the school gates, and for us to have the program at 12 o'clock Guyana time. I'm hoping, but I'm not in control of that. So I'm giving you early notice. I have court on Monday, and therefore there might be a little change. Whatever it is, we can come and we can have a program. So if you subscribe, you're going to get the notification, and you're going to know where we are. Subscribe. Hit the notification button, and you're going to know where we are. So let me understand that. Well, you know, we have gotten into the habit now of giving you some tune. We're going to bust you out with some tune this afternoon. And this afternoon, I can play for you. Yolanda, I want you to listen to this one. You think I'm going to bust Yolanda and Barlet and y'all. My favorite Calypsonian. Listen to him.
Even a fortune teller couldn't tell you more about woman than me. Don't care how a woman clever, I sure smarter than she. I could size up any woman in here or on the street, even though we have never met. I could tell you if she's sour, if she's salt, if she's sweet, if she's easy or she hard to get. For if her eyes start becoming kinda sleepy when you watch she fix, my advice is to take it kinda light, maybe she's out for tricks. But if she smile with dimples on she cheek and then she laugh and she got open teeth, don't let she get away. She have a bag of sugar down there. Don't let she get away. She have a bag of sugar down there. Some men like to see a woman very well built and have plenty bust. To be with her there in heaven, to capture her is a must. Well, with me, it really doesn't matter. Even if she chest flat like two fry egg, I will give she any money just as long as I could see she have to knock me up on the leg. If she pretends to be serious and play she's not observing you, grab she hand. If she try to pull away from you, that's a clue. Yes, if she smile with dimples on she cheek and then she laugh and she got open teeth, don't let she get away. She have a bag of sugar down there. Don't let she get away. She have a bag of sugar down there. If you have a bachelor neighbor and your girl keep talking him bad, saying how he's so vulgar, wearing jockey shots in the yard,
patient, watch her reaction during the conversation. If when he talk, she can't watch him, she does bow she head or turn she face. That is a sign she is willing to go with him any time or place. So when he gone, I am advising you from then on, you must wear jockey shorts too. That's the only way you go protect the sugar down there. Don't let she get away, she have a bag of sugar down there. Before a man settle with a woman, he better know what it's all about. Especially if she had children, measure the size that she mount. A big mouth woman will settle with any man for a drink of rum. And they're so easy to handle, they don't give no kind of trouble from the time you call them, they come. And if their lips start to quiver and they're blushing when they hear you speak, take a look at their nose. If it's perspiring, you should know their resistance weak. And if they dress loose and kind of fluffy, that is a sign of some kind of pregnancy. You better run away. It's only jail and courthouse down there. Don't let she get away. She have a bag of sugar down there. Yes?
She have it there. She have it there.
Open teeth woman.
Sugar.
You know.
Sparrow say, open teeth woman, sugar. Hey, hey. How you gonna start Sparrow? The best ever. Mighty Sparrow. Bag of sugar. Don't let she get away. She has a bag of sugar down there. I know where the sugar there, Barlet, you know? Violet, you don't know, right? So Sparrow, my favorite man. Sparrow is my favorite. He is by far my favorite. I love to listen to Sparrow. I love you. Always bring a smile to your face. Folks, we have had a long Friday afternoon. I know enough of you want to go into the weekend and enjoy. So let me let you off with this. Well, I got two things to show you. I got to give you tell you, don't ever give up. Don't ever give up. Where is my my tape? But I tell you, don't give up. Don't give up. Stay in the fight right down to the end. Stay, don't give up. Once you get life. I'm looking for this thing. Where is it? Once you have life. Oh, here we go. Once you get life, don't give up.
Corrales, despite us. Oh, there he goes. There goes Corrales. A sharp, accurate left hook to the face for Castillo. Will he get up?
6, 7, 8. Come to me. You all right? You want to continue? Okay, here we go. Time. Come here.
His mouthpiece was knocked out. He'll get a few extra seconds here.
Put it in.
Joe Goosen smartly, very slowly, putting it back in. It was a one-punch knockdown. Corrales in deep trouble, obviously.
He's in big trouble. I think he's done.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Come here. You all right? I'm penalized. Taking 1 point off. Time.
Now this is really becoming a huge round for Castillo. If the bell, he's taking a point away from Castillo, from Corrales, for spitting out the mouthpiece. For losing the mouthpiece twice.
He didn't even know what happened.
Here we go.
I think
this could be a 10-6 round then.
Could be.
He didn't know he dropped the mouthpiece. He didn't know it. Boy, Castillo looking to finish this thing up. Corrales, a desperate fighter, and a right hand for Corrales staggers Castillo. Oh my goodness. Can he survive this? A left hook, Castillo staggered once again. both fighters. But Castillo won't go down. He's never been down.
I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like this.
Left hook from Corrales. Castillo's wobbly. Now here comes Corrales. Unbelievable! 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 Diego Corrales comes back in a round he was losing 10-6 and wins the fight.
I'm a car stalker. I love my life. 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 No, no, we don't know where tomorrow might bring, cause the future, the hours away. So me, I live my life today. Me, I live my life today. Yeah, so love me, make me talk what I want for talk. Me have enough to say. So me, go live my life today. Me never live my life today. So everybody help me sing it out. Me love my life. Me love my life. Me love my life. So me, I live my life today.
I love my life. I'm going to live my life today. Folks, you had a good Friday afternoon session. As I've said, don't spread the word. We're going to be on Monday, but we might have some little tweak here, little tweak there. But we are going to be on. We have a lot of things to talk about. So again, let me encourage you. Let me implore you to make sure that you stay well over the weekend and beyond. Be safe. Be safe. You live in a place that is very dangerous. You have people, we ain't got to go into this afternoon, body found at Metamirzag. You got a lot of stuff we got to talk about. But time has caught up with us. So have a nice weekend. Valentine tomorrow. Well, tonight, don't forget tonight, Chucky on the loose tonight. Valentine's tomorrow, and then President's Day on Monday, and then also in Canada, there's holiday. So until we meet on Monday, God's Spray Life, whatever time you're going to meet, take care. Bye.
Speaking out, yeah. Up comes Parslow and Mr. Clinton. Can't wait. Speaking and exposing corruption each and every day. Yeah. Guyanese, turn on your TV and go to YouTube and listen to what Parslow and Conway to say. Yeah. Whole day we are calling for Parslow and Clinton Conway. They teach and educating, exposing the things in the system. We need a better Guyana for the little boys and the children poor. Slow and Clinton Conway.
All the money they invest, 2.2 billion.
Hear me when I sing. Yeah. Oh.
And they would have gotten
Guyanese at home and abroad. Please log into Conway as wide as it can reach. Paul Slow, you always will preach. Oh, yeah. Like and share, subscribe. Hit the notification bell so this message could reach as far. And every Guyanese will feel well. Oh, yes. Yeah. Paul Slow and Clinton Conway. Paul and Conway, every day.
all the money they invest, 2.4 billion of our money. That money could have been invested someplace. They have to
Like the issues